Ever made an assumption that turned out to be wrong? Let's dive into the world of assumptions, these invisible traps that we often fall into. The assumption trap is a tricky one. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle in it, the deeper you sink. Imagine this. You send a text to your friend, and they don't respond. You wait for an hour, then 2, then a whole day. Your mind starts racing, inventing scenarios. You begin to assume they're angry with you. You wonder what you did wrong. The reality, they were just caught up with work and forgot to reply. Sounds familiar, right? This is the assumption trap in action. It's when we fill in the gaps of what we don't know with what we think we know, often leading to misunderstandings. It's like a game of Chinese whispers, where the message gets distorted as it passes from one person to another. Let's take another example. Picture a co-worker who always keeps to themselves, rarely engaging in social activities. You might assume they're aloof or antisocial, but perhaps they're just introverted, or maybe they're dealing with personal issues. Assumptions, you see, are not facts. They're our mind's way of making sense of the world based on limited information. Assumptions can lead to unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings. They can strain relationships and create a cloud of doubt and confusion. And the worst part, most of the time we're not even aware we're making them. But here's the good news. There's a simple yet powerful way to avoid falling into the assumption trap. A tool so effective, it can transform your relationships and enhance your understanding of others. Ready for it? It's communication, specifically the act of asking. So the next time you find yourself on the brink of making an assumption, remember this. Assumptions can lead to unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings. It's always better to ask. What if instead of assuming, you asked? Now, let's dive into the heart of our discussion, the power of asking. Imagine a student, let's call her Jane. Jane's been feeling overwhelmed with her assignments, and she assumes she's failing her class. The stress builds up, and she starts to lose hope. But what if Jane decided to ask? One day, she gathers her courage and approaches her teacher, expressing her worries. To her surprise, she finds out she's actually doing well, and her teacher even commends her hard work. This simple act of asking not only eliminated her baseless worry, but also boosted her confidence. It's a simple, yet powerful tool we often overlook. By asking, we open doors to a better understanding, clearer communication, and more informed decisions. So, before you let your assumptions run wild, remember Jane's story. Asking eliminates uncertainty and clears up misunderstandings. Ever wondered how to become a better communicator? Well, it's simpler than you might think. It all comes down to asking questions rather than making assumptions. Let's consider an example. Imagine a manager noticing a drop in their team's productivity. The manager could assume that the team is slacking off, or they could ask what's going on. By asking, the manager might discover that the team is overwhelmed with work, struggling with a challenging project, or dealing with personal issues. This open line of communication allows the manager to address the real issues and improve productivity. This approach goes beyond the workplace. Whether you're interacting with friends, family, or strangers, asking questions can lead to deeper understanding and stronger relationships. It's a simple shift in mindset, but it can have a profound impact. Asking questions not only clears up misunderstandings, but also makes you a better communicator. Remember, before you assume, ask. So, what did we learn today? In the short span of this video, we've delved into the murky waters of assumptions and resurfaced with a profound understanding of their dangers. We've seen how easily we can find ourselves in the trap of assuming, how it can cloud our judgment and lead us into misunderstanding those around us. But we didn't stop there. We explored the transformative power of a simple act, asking. By asking, we can validate or dispel our assumptions, paving the way for clearer and more meaningful communication. We've discovered that asking questions not only helps us understand people better, but it also hones our skills as communicators. Remember, the next time you find yourself on the brink of an assumption, pause. Instead of letting your mind run wild with presumptions, take a moment to ask. Before you assume, try this crazy thing. Ask. It could change your life.